Okay. Well, you're at Cipriani, and what Cipriani means is very fancy French service. So please continue to finish eating, and we'll clear plates as we go, but we definitely want to get this celebration started. So it's time for the heart of the celebration. And before we begin, I'd like to ask the student honorees in the television category to make your way to stage left. You'll hear this throughout the night or day, whatever time of day it is. So student winners television, if you could make your way over. So now it is my privilege to introduce someone who exemplifies the very spirit of the Gracie Awards. An exceptional journalist, a powerful storyteller, and a past Gracie winner, Juju Chang is an Emmy award-winning co-anchor of ABC News Nightline and a frequent contributor to Good Morning America in 2020. Throughout her extraordinary career, Juju has brought humanity and depth to some of the most urgent and complex stories of our time, from the opioid epidemic to groundbreaking reporting on the rise in hate crimes in AAPI community. Juju has used her platform to elevate voices and shine a light where it's most needed. Her work on Stop the Hate and Murder in Atlanta are just two of the examples of the impact she continues to make. She is the recipient of multiple Emmys, Gracies, a DuPont, a Murrow, and a Peabody. I don't know what you've been doing, Juju. In 2017, she was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Front Page Awards, recognition of her decades of excellence in journalism. Born in Seoul and raised in California, she's a proud Stanford graduate, co-founder of the Korean American Community Foundation, and a recipient of the Justice in Action Award from the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. She's also a devoted wife, mother of three, and self-declared pandemic gardener. Doesn't everybody have a pandemic something? Juju brings brilliance to the stories she tells, compassion, clarity, and courage. You truly represent the Gracie Awards. So please join me in welcoming the remarkable Juju Chang. Here we go.
So honored to be with you, Becky. That was such a beautiful introduction. Thank you. I just love how fabulous this room is, how powerful this group of women is, and our male allies. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. I know that my table was full of women telling stories, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. I just can't thank you enough, Becky, and to the leadership of the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation. I'm thrilled to be here. It's genuinely an honor to be with you today, especially on such an auspicious milestone year for the Gracies. I've been a journalist for almost as long as the Gracies have been around, about 40 years, and as a proud Gracie recipient myself, hosting the 50th Annual Gracie Luncheon feels especially meaningful to me. This moment, as we all know, is about progress, about recognition, and about legacy as well, and I'm so proud to be part of this celebration. We all know that we're living through an extraordinary time of uncertainty, both at home and abroad. The news cycle for many of us feels relentless. And yet we as journalists and storytellers know how important it is for an informed citizenry to be part of a healthy republic. We give voice to the voiceless. We hold power to account. And if we do this right, we can uplift and inspire with our stories. I suspect that's why so many of us are here today, and why today is such a meaningful gathering. So let's go on to our first presenter, Vicki Nguyen. Vicki is NBC News Chief and Consumer Investigative Correspondent and anchor of NBC News Daily. She's also a regular on the Today Show, the NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas, and NBC News Now. She's not only a friend to me over the years, but to the entire Asian American journalism community. And she's most recently, become a New York Times bestselling author for her powerful memoir, Boat Baby, which was released earlier this year. Please join me in welcoming Vicki to the stage.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Juju, for that lovely introduction. You know, I love Juju. She's like a big sister to me. She once told me she and I were living lives that should be swapped because she was born and raised in California, and I, at the time, was living there when she was here in New York. So what a lovely moment for me to be here on stage with you, Juju. And to all of you, congratulations to everyone in this room. Whether you've won an award, you've supported an award, you judged an award, it is truly an honor to be here to celebrate with you all. And I'm so excited I get to present the Student Awards. You guys, you are the future. I think there's a pocket of students over here from Hofstra. Yes. We all are so excited to see your incredible dedication, your hard work in journalism that's already starting at this stage in your education. It was a long time ago when I was a sophomore at the University of San Francisco, and that was the first time that I thought maybe I could pursue a career in broadcast journalism. And it was because I met a Chinese Vietnamese American guy. His name was Tuan Lam, and he was basically the male version of me. He was very chatty, he was energetic, he was curious, and he actually explained to me the nitty-gritty. He told me how he was interning at local television stations in San Francisco. And it just opened a whole world for me to see someone like me with my background who kind of laid the little crumb trail and said, you know, this is a possible career path for you too. So here we are, fast forward 26 years technically, and it's been a very wild ride for me. I started in Orlando as a one-woman band, shooting all my own stories, editing my stories, carrying my tripod around, being called Connie Chung in the year 2000. And then I went to Reno. I know, who hasn't, right? They should have updated to Juju Chang. But I've worked in Reno, I've worked in Phoenix, I most recently worked in the Bay Area, and now here I am at the network here in New York. The best part of my job, I would say by far, and I think a lot of you who are journalists and storytellers in this room would agree, is meeting the people that you wouldn't otherwise get to meet. Learning every single day and having the opportunity to tell meaningful stories. So in that spirit of learning, of being curious, and of working hard, let's get to this year's honorees. We're going to get started with the first set of Gracie Awards for the students. Now, the topics that these student TV honorees cover, they're diverse and they're personal. A documentary that sheds a light on women and mothers continuing their education in Ghana. An award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students. And what I want to say is, as we bring our honorees up, please stay on stage once you receive your award. We're going to take a nice, beautiful group photo when everyone is recognized. So is everybody ready to welcome our students? Our first Gracie Award of the afternoon goes to BYU Office of First Year Experience for Best Hard News Feature. And here to accept is Jackie Durfee. Congratulations. Let's give a welcome to Catherine Brook, who is taking home a Gracie Award for Best On-Air Talent with WVU News. And winning not just one, but two Gracie Awards this year, Olivia Remusat. She directed and produced Hofstra Votes Live 2024 from Hofstra University here in New York. And then we also have Sydney Merrill from Brigham Young University. She's winning for her compelling piece, Pathway to Education, Breaking Ground in Ghana. She's receiving a Gracie Award for Best Interview Feature. And joining us now, Emma Butler-Price and Annika Oron, honored with a Gracie Award for Best Student Documentary for their powerful work, The Savior Stood Before Mine Eyes. That's also from Brigham Young University. Welcome from Utah, ladies. And rounding out this exceptional group, we want to welcome Ashton Mara and Gina Martino Dahlia from West Virginia University College of Creative Arts and Media. They are receiving a Gracie for Best News Program from WVU News. Congratulations to all of our students today.
Okay, welcome to stand on Eileen.
Thank you, Vicki. I love the collection of sensible shoes and fabulous shoes. It's really good. Now I want to ask our Student Radio and Digital Media Award winners to please make your way to stage left. Our next presenter brings sharp insight, energy, and a passion for connecting fans to the heart of sports. Jessie Sims is a standout reporter for ESPN, contributing weekly to one of the most beloved traditions in college football, College Game Day. She also covers men's college basketball for ESPN's Saturday Primetimes team and is a regular contributor for Good Morning America. Outside the studio, she's known to millions as a fitness instructor and a motivator, and you'll see why in just a second. Please welcome Jess Sims.
No pressure after that. How's everyone feeling? Thank you so much again, Juju. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here today to recognize the rising stars of radio and digital media. Through my personal work on College Game Day, I've had the privilege of connecting with students all across the country in all different kinds of weather. It's a wild time, y'all. And I've seen firsthand just how passionate and talented and driven this next generation truly is. These next honorees are already making an impact, and I have no doubt that they will help shape and help the future of media. It is not lost on me right now to be here right now because I never thought that I would be in front of a camera, in front of folks, specifically women in media, because I started my career as a teacher. 5th grade, 3rd grade, kindergarten, operations director, assistant principal, fitness instructor, and then some other things along the way. But here I am here, and I want to say 2 quick things. One, don't be afraid to let yourself make decisions that feel good. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here today. If I felt that I had to stay on the one path and not evolve into the person that I was becoming, I wouldn't be here today. And the second thing specifically for women is a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. We are not in competition with one another. And I feel so passionately about this. My heart is beating out of my chest because I've seen it firsthand. I have been guided by such incredible women that have championed me by saying my name in rooms where decisions are being made. So that is something that I want to leave y'all with right there. And let's get back to the celebration of these incredible achievements. The radio and digital media student honorees have a very bright future, and their stories include a touching tribute to the strength and resilience of women, both inside and outside the boxing ring, and an all-female team that organized, produced, engineered, and hosted a live nightly half-hour news program. Yes, give it up for them. So I think they're coming up stage here, right? Oh, they're over there. Beautiful. Look. They're all lined up ready for me. Let's do this. Let's begin by recognizing Miori Kennedy from Brigham Young University, taking home a Gracie Award for online producer for her work with The Universe. Congratulations, Miori. And next, we're proud to honor Reese Leatherman from the University of North Florida for her work as an online video host with Inside Swoop. Well done, Reese. Representing the next generation of media from Winthrop High School, Shannon Ranieri earns a Gracie Award in the blog, vlog, newsletter category for the Viking Times. On the airwaves, Allison Bruce of Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM wins for radio host personality for her compelling work with Rowan Radio News. Next up, we recognize Max Tendler from WUNC Youth Reporting Institute, who receives the Gracie Award for Radio News Feature for Asphalt Oceans, How Durham is Working to Make Roads Safer. Bringing a personal and powerful perspective to the field of sports, Brenda Plasencia from WFUV is honored in a radio news feature, Sports for Bittersweet Memories of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Ashley Blum of WRHU FM Radio Hofstra University. Give it up for Hofstra. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Takes home a Gracie Award for a radio talk show for her work on Hofstra Morning Wake Up Call. In the category of radio interview feature, congratulations to Jillian Coptic from KBIA for her thoughtful piece, Let the Music Play. The Burney sisters bid farewell to Columbia. Celebrating outstanding behind-the-scenes work, Libby Liebert is recognized as radio producer for Fight Fair. Yes, Pink Suit, we love that. And rounding out the category, Brooklyn Doughton of WRHU FM Radio Hofstra University is here to accept the Gracie Award for Public Affairs for the program Newsline. Let's take our photo.
That Hofstra table is very loud. It's Dean Lukashevitz. I know what's happening over there. Congratulations. It's so inspiring to see the young talent coming up. It's just outstanding. And I want to introduce somebody who's responsible for so much of what you're seeing on stage. Let's welcome someone who's literally part of the heartbeat of this organization, Annie Howell. Annie is the Chief Communications Officer at Hallmark Media. We love a good Hallmark movie. A dedicated member of the Alliance for Women in Media and Foundation boards of directors, and a longtime co-chair of the Gracies. Her tireless dedication to elevating women in media is matched only by her warmth and her sharp wits. Please welcome Annie to the stage for an important presentation.
Hello, everybody. So when I wake up in the morning, I always give gratitude, right? Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this career in this life, because not everybody gets this. And today, I have the blessing of being in the presence of 3 crushes. One is Ashley Williams, who I'm about to introduce to you. The second is Jane Pauley, who has been my journalistic crush for decades. And my teenage crush, Boomer Esiason. I had to say it. He's here. I love him. Okay. All right. So anyway, thank you, everybody, for being here today. I've been on this board for 15 years. It is like the privilege of my life to work with incredible people from all over this industry. One of the greatest honors during this long career of mine is serving on this foundation board and being a co-chair of the Gracies now, I think, 8, 9 years, I think. So I'm a TV girl, but because of AWM, like Vicky said, you get to meet people you normally wouldn't meet. You know, I've met people who have become some of my closest friends, like my co-chairs, Heather Cohen and Mike McVeigh. I love you both. I was here for my radio people. I love my radio people, but it is a blessing. So as you've seen and heard, this organization makes it possible to engage, stay connected, and support the important mission of AWM. Hallmark Media has partnered with the foundation to impact the next generation of women in media by creating a new scholarship, and we're really excited about it. We're honored to highlight our program that uplifts visionary creators behind the camera through the Make Her Mark Female Mentorship Director Initiative. And basically what that means is we match women who they're already ready to direct, but they just can't get that yes. And we pair them with a seasoned director, men and women, who volunteer their time. We hire them to shadow them during a movie, 2 movies, 3 movies. And then when they're ready, that person shadows them as they direct their first Hallmark movie. It's brilliant, but about to tell you about why. I'm excited because this scholarship underlines our commitment to support women at every stage of their career, from the student with a vision for her future to that woman who has worked tirelessly to get that chance to just get yes. The Make Her Mark Scholarship is designed to reach an aspiring women in early stages of her career to support their studies in a way that sets them up for future success, academically and professionally. This year's recipient is Raha Amirfazli, a master's student in film and TV production at NYU. Our first ever Make Her Mark Scholarship is going to be presented today by actor and director Ashley Williams. But before I bring her up here, I want to say a few quick words about Ashley. I know you're not, of course I'm going to say something nice about you. She exemplifies what it means to support people and women. When I came back to Hallmark, I'm a boomeranger. I had to say boomer twice. I bet this is 5 years ago. We were at the beginning of the pandemic. So a blueprint for this really aggressive unnamed initiative landed on my desk, which was also known as email then, right? And I was told that Ashley Williams wanted to meet me and was the mastermind of this new program. So we got on a Zoom, and there was Ashley, upside down on their living room floor. Her boys running around, the dogs running around. She's looking at the camera, and she's just telling me about this program. It was like she had this unbelievable energy and twinkle in her eye, but this idea was brilliant, and I was sold. It took us 2 years to get that from the green light, from that Zoom to launching our pilot program. And now 3 years in, we have many, many worthy recipients and mentors benefiting from her vision and her persistence. I admire how Ashley tenaciously builds her own career and resume while committing serious time to look for ways to give so many women a platform and the chance to learn, grow, succeed in their own right. She's the ultimate connector. She's generous. She's kind. She's wild. She's fall down funny. And she's brilliant. I adore the ground she walks on. So please welcome the founder of Make Her Mark, beloved actor and director, and my really good friend, Ashley Williams. Yeah.
I was not told that she was going to say any of that. Wow, that was so nice. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you. Yes, I don't have my kids and my dog around me right now. I look like a professional. Thank you very much. So here's the deal. Make Her Mark is all about giving aspiring women behind the camera their first yes, and then surrounding them with the tools, the mentorship, and the support to succeed. Now, I make holiday movies for a living, which means that although it's mid-June, I am going to use a Christmas metaphor to really get my point across. So giving a first-time director a job without training is like giving someone a sleigh without reindeer. Sure, it looks festive, but it's not going anywhere. So what sets the alumni of our program up for a long and successful life behind the camera is that we don't just hand out sleighs, we train the reindeer. Because of the magic of Christmas in our program because of that, the magic of our program isn't just in the sleigh, it's in knowing how to drive it. And that's what this scholarship is all about too. So this year's recipient, Raha, is at a defining moment in her creative journey. One path leads to graduating and continuing bold, uncensored work in the U.S. film industry. The other could mean returning to an uncertain future in Iran. Her strength, resilience, and vision embody everything that Make Her Mark stands for. We are so honored to support her next chapter. While we would absolutely love to celebrate Raha together in person, she is unable to attend today. I know we will all cheer for her as we watch her fly for many years ahead as a brilliant storyteller. Congratulations, Raha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley, and I know we all wish Rahal and her entire family well. It's now my honor to introduce Annie's teen crush, And I suspect you're not the only person who had a teen crush on our next honoree, on our next presenter, rather. I want to bring to the stage Boomer Esiason. Boomer is the co-host, for those of you who might not have had a teen crush on him, he is the co-host of WFAN's Boomer and Geo and has been a staple of New York sports radio since 2007. After an outstanding NFL career as a lefty quarterback, I'm told by my sons, primarily with the Cincinnati Bengals, Boomer transitioned seamlessly into broadcasting, bringing sharp insight and personality to the airwaves. Beyond radio, Boomer and his wife have championed so many charitable efforts through his Boomer Esiason Foundation, which has raised over $96 million to fight cystic fibrosis. It is a cause that's close to their hearts. Thousands of fans start their mornings with Boomer and Geo, and we're thrilled to have Boomer here today to present our local market radio honorees.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, Annie, but I do appreciate it. It is great to be here. You know, I spent a lot of years behind the microphone, and I know just what it takes to get up in the morning every single day to bring the energy, and you have to have something real to say. And the women we're honoring in local radio are doing just that and more. You're not just delivering the news or playing the hits. You're actually connecting with people, building trust, and you're making an impact in your local communities, and it's something to be proud of. Now, I'm supposed to say something about my personal life or something like that. First of all, Annie, you just blew me away. Everybody at my table says you're blushing. I said I was. Interestingly enough, 41 years ago, I got my start at WJZ-TV in Baltimore when I was a student at the University of Maryland, much like the Hofstra students, the BYU students. And interestingly enough, the first boss that I had was a woman in the sports industry, and she broke the glass ceiling. She was Gail Gardner, and she was a sports reporter for WJZ at the time, and she was bossing me around, teaching me how to cut tape for highlights and things of that nature. And I would watch every night just how she would carry herself on TV. And I also met at that same spot, WJZ, for the first 2 years of my broadcasting career, I think a woman that maybe some of you may know, I'm not sure if you do or not, but I consider her kind of a quasi-friend and somebody that I've looked up to my entire broadcasting life. Her name happens to be Oprah Winfrey. That's who that was. So believe it or not, my first foray into media was with those two women who took me under their wing. And then when I finally got into television later on in life, after I retired from the NFL, one of the first women that I worked with who was so kind to me, taught me everything I needed to know about getting ready for football games on television was the great Leslie Visser. So 3 women in my life who have been a big part of my own success. And Juju, if you want to start a radio show with me, we could be Boomer and Juju in the morning if you'd like.
That'd be such fun.
That would be fun. And I just want to say thank you for not mistaking me for Phil Simms. Oh, my gosh. I heard Connie Chung before, University of Maryland graduate. I know Connie. And I'm sure she would appreciate that. All right, so this year we have local honorees that told impactful stories that covered a show that has grown to be a trusted platform for information by delivering compelling interviews and in-depth storytelling on issues impacting the Hispanic community. And of course, a story that sheds light on the injustices affecting marginalized communities, especially women and families of color, and aims to inspire dialogue and action towards equity and meaningful change. So it is my honor now to introduce our local market radio group's winners. All right, starting us off is Iridian Fierro, earning a Gracie Award in the sports interview feature category. She may want my job, but for her conversation with AEW stars Sky Blue and Kyle Fletcher on WGN Radio AM 720.
And just and for those winners who haven't already, I'll encourage you to come backstage to the stage left now.
Stage left now. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Oh, that's your fault. Okay. It's like an offensive line that gives up a sack. It's your fault. Yes. All right, taking home the Gracie for Morning Drive host, Media Market, it's Alabama for her work on the Alabama Show and iHeartMedia. Up next, Carly Rush of Griffin Media wins the co-host, music DJ personality, media market category for Cliff and Carly in Mornings. Receiving the Gracie host non-morning drive music DJ personality major market is iHeartMedia's very own Carol Miller of Q104.3. Representing Town Square Media, Chris Rollins is honored with a Gracie Award for Host Morning Drive, small market for her work on Chris and the Crew. I tried to get Boomer and the Crew, and they wouldn't do that. So in the major market category, co-host, music DJ personality category, we celebrate multi-Gracie Award winner Christine Nagy of the Cubby and Christine Morning Show on iHeartMedia. Next, Deborah Honeycutt of Deb and Matt in the Morning takes home a Gracie in the large market co-host, music DJ personality category for Cumulus Media Broadcasting. We are thrilled to recognize Nadia Sandoval from Latino Media Network, a Gracie Award for non-English program for, this is going to be good for me, Antare con Nadia Sandoval. We get accused of not speaking English on our show, too, so don't worry about that. In the public service announced category, congratulations to Mary Lynn Buckley of Odyssey, New York, for her piece, Giving Back, and celebrating meaningful interviews and powerful storytelling. Sue Tabb, and that would be Kendra Petroni of Odyssey Boston. They win the Gracie for interview feature for exceptional women featuring Retta Monahan. For crisis coverage, breaking news. Melanie Wilkinson of Asheville Media Group, Saga Communications is honored for her coverage, amazing coverage, by the way, of the Hurricane Helene aftermath. And to round out this incredible group of honorees, we are proud to present the Gracie Award for Public Affairs Local Market Radio to Lorraine Ballard of Moral of iHeart Philadelphia. Congratulations, ladies.
Focus slide in front. Yes, you see, thank you. Where all of you going to feel good. Yep. Get back up and sweat.
It's like a team photo. Let's go. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's take it. The good news, they're so excited, and we gave them what.
Yes, it's great. So now I'd like to welcome the Local Radio Awards Group 2 winners, please, to stage left. So now, please help me welcome someone who wakes up millions of people every morning, listeners who are listening in to her warmth, her wit, charm, and her sharp takes on pop culture. I'm talking about the none other than Gandhi. As co-host of the nationally syndicated Elvis Duran and The Morning Show, she brings humor and heart to the airwaves every morning. A gifted comedy writer, voice talent, and passionate advocate, we're thrilled to have her here today. Please welcome Meta Gandhi.
All right, this is so cool. Congratulations to all of you, by the way, because you've either won something or you've done something that brought you here because you were very supportive of people who did. So give yourselves a round of applause. It's pretty great. All right. Juju, it is an honor to be here in this room, just celebrating women in media in general. I have been really fortunate. I have worked with so many brilliant women in my career. And again, congratulations to all of you, because I've worked with some of you in here. Lucky me. As a past Gracie winner, I can share that this is a defining career moment for all of you that will support your career trajectory. When I started in radio, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about who I should be and how I should present myself. I'm sure we've all heard that. I definitely tried some of those ideas, and I failed pretty miserably. And then I realized that the best thing that I had to give was just me. I might not be, oh, that's nice. Not the smartest person, not the funniest person. I'm really not any of the ists, but I am authentic, and I have a different perspective, as I'm sure a lot of you in this room do as well. And that's when I started to share it. And winning the Gracie, it was an incredible experience. It validated my thoughts, and it proved that people want things that are outside of that box. One day I was trying to figure out how to fit in, and then I finally realized it's okay to stand out. And in doing that, I also realized that there were a lot of girls just like me who don't know what to do with their weirdness. So even though I didn't get to see me growing up, now I get to be me as an adult, and I get to show those little girls, as all of you guys do, that there is a place for you, as weird as you might be. So suddenly people, thank you. People are starting to pronounce my name correctly, which is crazy. They're responding to my emails. I'm actually getting answers. And it didn't really just change my career. It reminded me that being loud and honest and a little odd actually works, and that being myself is the best thing to be, because everybody else is already taken. So I started walking a little taller, which is great because I'm 5'1", and I need all the height I can get, hence the big shoes. So let's get to our next set of awards. The pieces that won Gracie's this year for local market radio include powerful stories ranging from a producer who ensures conversations are dynamic, engaging, thoughtfully crafted to connect with women through family dynamics and relationships, a deep dive into Philadelphia's gun violence crisis through compelling interviews with victims, perpetrators, and first responders, as well as officials, exploring its scale, its impact, and the challenges to ending it. So let's bring our honorees out to congratulate them. There are a lot. All right. Starting us off, Itzi Ortega of Latino Media Network. She's being honored with the Gracie for non-English individual achievement for her work on elevating voices and empowering communities. Next, Katrina Barilla of Media Co. She's earning Producer Award for her excellence behind the scenes at Hot 97. Taking home the Gracie for host, non-morning drive, talk personality is Christy Kemper of QFM 96, representing CBUS Media Group, Saga Communications. For host, morning drive, major market category, Letty Paniche for Brown Bag Mornings with Morello Media. In the co-host, music, DJ personality, small market category, Marga Patterson wins for New Hampshire in the Morning with Neil and Marga on WZID Saga. Michelle Southern of Guarantee Media's Eagle 98.1. She's awarded host, non-morning drive, music, DJ personality, small market for her show, Southern Rock. Kristen Johansson earns the Gracie for hard news feature for her piece, Ricochet, on KYW News Radio, part of Odyssey Philadelphia. Fantastic storytelling. Receiving the Gracie for interview feature, hard news, is Dan Seaman and KTMY-FM for their roundtable discussion, domestic violence. Very important work there as well. Raquel Williams is awarded in the feature special category for stories from the journey on KYW News Radio with Odyssey Philadelphia. Scoring the win for talk show sports is Talking Golf with Ann Ligori on WFAN NY. And Rita Cosby is the recipient of the Gracie for talk show for the Cats and Cosby Show on 77 WABC Radio. All right. Tosha Makea Acevedo of Odyssey takes home the Gracie for host non-morning drive music DJ personality medium market for her show on KS 107.5. And finally, there's a lot of people up here. News reporter with Cox Media's 95.5 WSB goes to Veronica Waters. A big congratulations to all of them. All right, let's get our picture.
All right, but maybe bring it, a couple step forward. And yep. We're doing. Okay, fabulous.
No, I see. Good. Okay, so at this point, let me call the winners of the non-commercial radio. Please begin to make your way to stage left as we introduce our next presenter, who's familiar to most of us on Long Island. Jamie Morris is host of Jamie and You on K-Joy 98.3. He's also a 2021 Gracie Award winner for Outstanding Morning Show. With nearly a decade of waking up Long Island, Jamie brings heart and humor and real-life moments to the mic every single day. A proud mom of two, she somehow manages to balance it all and still makes time for us all to laugh. Please join me in welcoming Jamie Morris to the stage.
It's so nice to be here. Hofstra. I'm going to say that, and, good. I went to Hofstra, so it's so cool to be here, seeing the future, seeing old friends, making new friends. It's just such an honor to be here. Public and non-commercial local radio programming serve as powerful storytellers in our society. With a shared mission to inform and educate, they deepen our understanding of the world, amplify underrepresented voices, and bring context and connection to the moments that shape our lives. My own journey in radio began, like I said, as many journeys begin, non-commercial, college radio, 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University. That's good? That's good? So nice to see everybody. Dean Luke, Dr. Poser, Mullen. I am so incredibly proud of my radio roots, and it's so great to see WRHU so well represented here at the Gracies over all of these years, continuing to empower students to discover their voices, amplify them, and continue to serve the Long Island community. Keep speaking up, keep asking the questions, keep caring about other people and their stories. Tell your story and tell their story. Let me tell you about the impressive work of our honorees. A series of audio postcards from classical musician moms revealing the glamorous, thrilling, and beautifully messy reality of life on and off the stage. And a producer whose documentary exposed the harrowing abuse, forced assimilation, and cultural genocide inflicted upon Indigenous children. So let's meet these incredible honorees. Starting us off, Allison Stewart of WNYC is honored with the Gracie for interview feature for her thoughtful work on all of it. Allison Stewart. Next, Angie Perrin of KCRW earns the Gracie for producer for her creative vision behind Sugarcane. April Bear of Michigan Public takes the Gracie for host anchor for her insightful work on Stateside. Earning top honors in the feature special category is Behind the Scenes of DJs, Women Setting the Vibe, produced by Nikhil Kumaran for NPR News with Angela Davis at Minnesota Public Radio. Congratulations, Nikhil. In the portrait biography category, intersex advocacy with Pigeon Pagonis from Audacious with Kion Wolf at Connecticut Public takes the win, led by Kion Wolf and Jessica Severin DeMartinez. Bravo, Kion and Jessica. Up next, Notes from Mothers from Louisville Public Media claims the Gracie for series produced by Colleen Wheelahan. Rebecca Smith of KVIA is honored in the reporter correspondent category for her exceptional local journalism. And closing out this category, revisiting In Their Footsteps in honor of Dr. Lucky Allen from WLIW-FM and Infinite Variety Productions wins the Gracie for documentary produced by Ash Singer. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the winners. And this time around, can the winners of the local market TV group #1 please begin making your way stage left. Up next, please welcome an award-winning journalist who brings depth, clarity, and compassion to every story she tells. Her name is Erica Hill. As an anchor and national correspondent for CNN, Erica has reported on everything from presidential elections and natural disasters to co-hosting family-focused town halls during the pandemic, one of which earned CNN its first daytime Emmy nomination. Erica and I have recently been in cahoots on a beautiful documentary about dyslexia directed by a mutual friend, a former Good Morning America producer. Erica is a former anchor herself at NBC and CBS. She's long been a trusted voice in journalism. It allowed me to see a part of Erica's heart, which I now treasure. We're so proud to welcome to the stage, Erica Hill.
Thank you. It is such a treat to be here. And I have to say, I am so grateful, too, in the way that our friend Anna, with her beautiful film, of which Juju is also an executive producer, Left Behind. I'm so happy that Anna brought us together because I have long admired you and we crossed paths, as so many of us in this room do. This is the beauty of this organization. In the way that it brings so many of us together. We see each other on stories. We see each other as the people running onto the plane to go to the place where everyone else is leaving, and we're competing. And yet at the same time, what has been most remarkable to me in my nearly 30 years now of journalism is how so many of the women in this room and who support the women in this room come together and really lift one another up. And that is such a wonderful, remarkable community to be a part of. So thank you to all of you who continue to do that. Local journalists, as we know, are often the very first voices that communities hear in times of crisis, of celebration, or of change. You shine a light on the stories that matter the most. These are the stories that connect, that inform, and uplift. And your work is truly the foundation of trusted journalism. It's the foundation my career is built on. And while I have to admit, I didn't actually ever work in local news, my early mentors, and frankly, some of the most important on-the-job training I received in my career, all of that came from dedicated local journalists who had spent decades covering the San Francisco Bay Area. And they decided in the late 90s they were going to put a pause on that work. And they were going to join this fledgling cable startup dedicated to technology that happened to have a newsroom. And they were going to shape in that newsroom the next generation of journalists. I still jokingly refer to a lot of those folks as these sort of salty, old school journalists. They were gruff on the outside, and they had an absolute heart of gold on the inside. And they were so dedicated to teaching us to do the things that we needed and the things that, frankly, we wanted to learn to do well, to write, to edit, to question, to never be afraid to question, to develop relationships, whether that was with law enforcement, local officials, activists, citizens, to really dive into a community, to get to know that community, to understand what matters and why, and to do all of that as a team. Local journalism and the spotlight that it shines on critical issues has never been more important in this country. And I know it's incredibly challenging in this moment, and not just for the financial reasons that we all know about. But again, it is so important, and it must endure because it's the bedrock of our democracy. And your reporting offers a remarkable opportunity to connect in a moment that feels meant to divide. And I just want to say, every night, I turn on the local news as I'm making dinner. That is part of my nightly ritual, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I am glad you're here, and I know you're not going anywhere. Today, we're recognizing excellence in local TV, which includes an in-depth investigation exposing systemic failures that leave domestic violence survivors unprotected, despite having followed all the right steps, and a personal journey spanning 3 decades and 3 battles with cancer. It is a story of advocacy, survival, and also of how she saved her own life a 3rd time. Let's bring our honorees now up to the stage to congratulate them. To kick things off, please welcome Stacey Sager and Emily Hartman of WABC to accept the Gracie Award for their powerful women's health news features, 3 decades, 3 cancers. Next up, accepting for Dream School, a journey to higher ed, Sandra Viktorova of WGCU Public Media. She's taking home the Gracie Award in the documentary category. Please welcome Emily Judum to the stage, honored in the producer, scripted, edited live category for her work on Never Cried with GBH News. We just saw each other in the ladies' room, which is also where women tend to meet. So this worked out perfectly. The Gracie Award for Investigative Feature goes to Failure to Protect, a domestic violence investigation from WBBM TV. Please welcome Marissa Perlman to accept this well-deserved honor. For Excellence in Sports Feature, please welcome Caitlin Ross of WXIA TV. She's taking home the Gracie for From Asphalt to Glory. Accepting the award for director is Jerry Constant of KCAL News, CBS Los Angeles, for her incredible work on profiles in resilience. Up next, Jessica Miller and Lindsay Buckingham of WKYC Tegna. They're accepting the Gracie in the News Magazine category for their inspiring piece, Heartstrings. And finally, the Gracie Award for News Program goes to In Focus, Governor Kathy Hochul, protecting our children from Spectrum News and Y1. Please welcome Cheryl Wills to accept this honor.
Where's our friend from Getty? There he is.
Thank you.
I think I'm getting a contact high from Stacey and all the awards already is up here. I want our local market TV group 2 recipients, please, to make your way stage left. Before we present our final group of awards for the afternoon, I want to take a moment to reflect on what it means to be part of this industry as a sisterhood in women in media. Local television is where many of us began. Shout out to KGO, TV, Channel 7, San Francisco. Woo! Where we learn to chase stories, earn trust, and speak truth to our community up close, up personally. It's also where countless communities first see themselves represented. The women we're honoring now are leaders, innovators, and change makers in cities and towns across the country. Their work is absolutely vital, and it's making a difference every single day. I look down, I see Sade, a shining example of local news. This year's honorees created pieces covering topics like a passionate advocate for amplifying women's voices, dedicated to telling impactful stories about women in sports, women's health, and gender inequality, and an eye-opening story that exposes the harsh realities faced by undocumented farm workers in California, essential to America's food system, yet often overlooked. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce the creators of these stories, the second group of TV Local Awards. Number 1, starting us off in Group 2, Jana Shortle of KRE 11 or CARE 11 Minneapolis, who won the Gracie Award for on-air talent for her work on breaking the news. Unfortunately, she is now covering breaking news in the aftermath of that unthinkable tragedy in Minneapolis. Number 2, taking home the Gracie in the on-air talent meteorologist category is Janice Harris of WJXT TV. For excellence in soft news feature, the Gracie goes to NH A Chronicle, all-female tuna crew. Please welcome Karen Myers of WMUR to the stage. Accepting the Gracie for co-host talk personality in a large major market, it's Rita Cosby of Katz and Cosby on 77 WBC Radio. A big round of applause for our dear Rita. In the non-English program category, The Cost of the Harvest earns the win for Univision Sacramento. Please welcome Andrea Uliozzi and Rochelle Cedeno de Abreu to accept the honor. Up next, the Gracie Award for Series goes to The Scotland Story for WUSA 9. Accepting today are Leslie Foster and Aaron Spat. For Turn to Tara, When Home Hurts, the Gracie in the Investigative Feature category goes to Tara Rosenblum of News 12 Network. And for our final award of the day, winning the Gracie for non-English individual achievement is Veronica Betances of Accessio Total on Telemundo. A huge congratulations to all our honorees. Thank you. Thank you. Now I get to introduce one of Annie's other crushes, her TV crush. And what an incredible moment this is. The Gracie Awards have always been about honoring excellence, celebrating trailblazers, and paying tribute to women whose impact on media is immeasurable. And this afternoon, as we prepare to recognize a true legend, it is only fitting that we are joined by a woman whose own career has set the gold standard in journalism. For more than 5 decades, Jane Pauley has been a trusted voice, a pioneering force, and a storyteller with unmatched grace and insight. From her years on the Today Show to Dateline NBC, where she worked alongside my husband, Neil Shapiro. Of course, we all know her as the beloved anchor of the broadcast institution known as CBS Sunday Morning. Jane has earned the highest accolades in journalism, including Emmys, the Walter Cronkite Award, the Edward R. Murrow Award, and of course our own Gracie's Lifetime Achievement Award from the AWM Foundation. Today, as she stands before us, she's not just an icon, but a friend to the industry, a friend to us all, and most importantly, a friend to the extraordinary women we honor today. An absolute privilege. Welcome to the stage, Jane Pauley.
It's cool. Everybody loves you. Thank you. Well, my, oh, my. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And, Boomer, you were not my teenage crush. You might have been, but for obvious reasons. Juju, I apologize. I was 15 minutes late to your wedding. Whether or not you don't want to be there when the bride is about to march, but everybody was looking at her, not at Gary and me coming late. Andy Lack came later. Talk tonight about trailblazers and pioneers. If you saw someone looking at her phone, as my salty, crusty, sometimes gruff boss, Rand Morrison, probably did, I was looking up the distinction of trailblazer and pioneer, which comes first. Did the trailblazer come before the pioneers or vice versa? It doesn't really matter. We're here honoring Gracie Allen. A few of us probably remember Gracie Allen from her days as a comedian. Our paths crossed in an interesting way one time when I had left NBC after many, many years and had an appointment in the building, left my wallet in a taxi cab and didn't have an ID to show at the visitors center, where a young man clearly was not going to know who I was. And they had redecorated the visitor center recently, and I noticed, there was Johnny Carson and the Saturday Night Live, the original cast, and Gracie and Burns and Allen, and me with Tom Brokaw and Gene Shalit. I was 25 years old, but I said, "But that's me," and the young man turned and looked and laughed, and he did let me in. But Gracie Allen was a pioneer and a trailblazer, and that's why we honor her here today. I encourage you to look in on her. My colleague, Martha Teichner, is genuinely the pioneer, trailblazing generation of women journalists. I often have to correct the record. I was not one. I followed that generation of women, of which Martha was an esteemed member, and so many of these women are still known today. How many times has Connie's name been mentioned today? Leslie's still working, for heaven's sakes, Judy Woodruff. Those are the women. And Martha is one of them. I've known Martha as a colleague since 1975 in Chicago. 50 years ago, I was the new girl in town, but Martha was already among the most distinguished reporters in a city, the city most associated with journalism, Chicago. Her career was only beginning, her powers still growing, and honed under the pressure of network news deadlines and sometimes reporting literally under artillery fire, not to mention the withering disregard of her, the male-dominated culture of that day. Martha was indefatigable, and she was inevitable. She has elevated sharp reporting with unmatched prose, delivered with her signature elegance. Martha's office tells the story of hungry curiosity, filled floor to ceiling with books and magazines that cover topics from gastronomy to economics to animals and everything in between. With breathtaking range, her career of 6 decades, it is impossible to quantify her contribution to journalism, but I suppose you could begin by counting the 16 Emmys, 6 James Beard Awards, who here could claim that, an Alfred DuPont Columbia Award, the Robert F. Kennedy Award for Journalism, and today, fittingly, we celebrate her remarkable career with a Lifetime Achievement Award. How best to describe Martha Teichner? In a word, the incomparable Martha Teichner. Okay.
It is heavy. It is heavy. And there you go.
Thank you. It is heavy. Thank you, Jane. We go way, 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 way back. And it makes me very happy that Jane is here at my side today. Thank you all. Thank you to the Gracies from the bottom of my heart. And to Rand Morrison, the executive producer of Sunday Morning. The very best show anywhere with the very best people anywhere. And I love them. And to John Karras, the broadcast producer for the show. They submitted my name for this honor without my knowing. So this was a complete and just total wonderful surprise. How could a lifetime have gone by since I answered that one ad in the Grand Rapids Press in 1971 for a radio news man? I was not a man, and I'd never been in a radio station. But somehow, after constructing a little newscast and being shown how to speak into a microphone so the needle didn't peek into the red, I was hired as the afternoon reporter anchor at WJEF Country Western Radio. I was 23. All the disc jockeys were called Cousin Somebody. All those cousins were supposed to clear the wires while records were playing. Yes, records. But Cousin Larry couldn't figure out the difference between national, state, and local news, sports, and weather. I'd find him staring at fists full of ripped copy when the music ended and the WJEF audience would hear only the tisk, tisk, tisk of the needle on whatever record had run out. I brought my rather large dog, Beast, to work on Saturdays when I had to start at 4 a.m. The sales manager fed him donuts and called them dog nuts. The station owner, John Fetzer, who also owned the Detroit Tigers, refused to allow pictures on any of the walls. So the cousins created a photo collage of naked women inside the fuse box, which was just above the cart where the coffee machine was kept. During commercial breaks, they would pour themselves a cup and open the door of the fuse box for a quick look. There was a huge old television floor camera unit in the control room. One of the engineers hid in it whenever his various ex-wives came after him for money. A listener wrote in that he didn't want a woman cluttering up my airwaves. The station manager laughed. I cried. In this odd environment, I set out to teach myself journalism and broadcasting. I covered local stories and made rookie mistakes in the relative safety of total obscurity. WJEF was a CBS affiliate. In addition to top-of-the-hour drive-time AM newscasts, I had to build a 15-minute evening summary for FM, which meant using excerpts from the flagship CBS radio broadcast, The World Tonight. After work, I would transcribe those CBS shows and read the transcripts out loud, karaoke style, over the voices of Eric Severide, Douglas Edwards, Walter Cronkite, and others. A who's who of the great CBS correspondents of the day. My teachers, although they never knew it. All men, of course. I listened to what they had to say and how they said it. I figured out how they paced their sentences so they could breathe. I learned how they wrote. I realized that almost all of them had worked overseas, regarding the United States and its place in the world from an ocean away, covering wars. And that experience had given them perspective and wisdom and style. Why did I work 100 hours a week and get paid for half that? Because the minute I walked into WJEF radio, I knew, I really did, that I would make it to a television network, that I would go overseas, push myself, make sacrifices, mold my career, demand the chance to grow into the kind of journalist I admired, the kind I hoped to become, the worldly kind, tough, thorough, analytical, but open, humane. I never tried to copy anybody. I didn't know how. I wasn't blonde or sexy or glamorous or cool. I was curious and fiercely determined not to be a... Thank you. Not to be a star, but to have a platform to tell stories, big or small, to find the best words, the right words, to tell them well and make them memorable. I've always seen myself as a public servant with a responsibility both to the stories I cover and to the audiences watching them. After 9/11, I prayed, actually prayed, that I might be worthy of my assignment for that Sunday, trying to convey the horror of the attack by telling the story of its impact on the people of Windows on the World. After more than 50 years in news, every story is still hard. I still feel a crawly fear in my stomach every time I sit down to write, a fear that I won't do justice to the subject. I just try my damnedest and reach into my chocolate drawer when I get stuck. I never thought much about being a woman doing my job, except when the reality of being a woman made that a reality for everything I did. And when that got in the way, and it did, stories I had covered taken away from me and put on the air by men, edicts from bosses that women were not allowed to go to war zones. What woman correspondent of my generation couldn't recite a litany of her experiences with sexual discrimination and sexual harassment? For us, there was no HR number to call. If you went public, your career was over. So I was part of a resolute sisterhood, endured, and quietly, relentlessly found ways to move a mindset. I've always hoped that my work would do the talking, and that I would have a chance to let it do the talking. Receiving this award today and being inducted into the Emmys Gold Circle next week are a reassuring and unexpected validation, recognition by my professional peers of the work I've done over the course of a lifetime. I leave you with this. When I started out at WJEF Country Western Radio, no matter how ambitious I was, there's no way I could have imagined where news would take me through more than half a century of history being made all over the world. No way I could have understood how rich my life would be. I never set out to break down barriers for anybody other than myself. That's about all I could handle. But if I've helped in any way to even the playing field for other women, good. Thank you again. I'm humbled and grateful.
I'm so glad you answered the ad for Best Newsman. Martha, I just want you to soak in this applause because every woman here is part of your legacy. And we all owe you a debt of gratitude. And we salute you and Jane, who are just shining examples of broadcast journalism. Thank you so much for walking and blazing that trail. You've done more than justice to the stories that you've done. And I know that everyone was hanging on your every word. And Jane, I think 30 years since my wedding, it's past the statute of limitations. It's okay that you were 15 minutes late. I am so thrilled and tickled to be here to watch Martha deliver such a masterclass in why we do what we do and why we're here today. It's an inspiring way to close out the 50th Annual Gracie Awards celebration. And before we part ways, I want to offer one last thought, which you know, impact doesn't end here. There are so many ways that you can support the AWM Foundation and its mission to uplift and empower and tell this generation and the next generation of storytellers. Your contributions help sustain programs like this, ensuring that deserving students and professionals who create programming by, for, and about women continue being recognized and encouraged. And finally, I know it is the afternoon, but it wouldn't be the Gracie Awards unless I close the program by saying, good night, Gracie. See you next year.